Evening peeps, evening, welcome back to the channel. So we are back tonight with round 3 of the GTTCC season 21. So we've got two half-an-hour races for you guys. First race is live from Deep Forest. We have a 10-minute qualifier there first, and then we jump into the 30-minute race there at Deep Forest, and then we go for a reverse grid at Daytona Tri-Oval. So first race is also driver's choice in terms of car, whereas race 2 it's a fixed car. Everybody has to drive the Nissan GTR just to try and keep things a little bit fairer in terms of race conditions. So that's what we've got on the board for you tonight. Deep Forest and Tri-Oval, two different races. Let's get ourselves in. I'll read points out as we go through qualifying. T-shirts and stickers still available, people. Not many T-shirts, probably a small and medium left if you want any of those. Outside of that, plenty of stickers. Hit me up, dartsmoker@googlemail.com. Evening. How are we all doing? Warm tonight, isn't it? Whew. This T-shirt might end up being a different colour by the end of the night. We'll see. We'll see. So, how are we all doing? Let's have a look. Qualifying just started. Only 10 drivers in the lobby tonight. We have got an LFC fan, we've got a Hirokrama Dark Clark, IGTSH Dixon, we've got Batman, we've got Nicolaidas, Toby, Judge Pickle, Fat Pickles Bro, and Mockin Weeks. So let's just jump into this qualifying session, put some nonsense on for you guys. So, points-wise, let's have a look. It is still Dark Clark leading the championship at the minute. He's got himself 80 points on the board. Hirokrama second with 71 points. A bit of a gap then back to third, GT Delhi B with 48 points. Fourth is JRC 87, not racing tonight, 45 points. Nipping at his heels in fifth is Batman on 44. Sixth is Mocking Weeks with 41 points. Seventh is Donkey Chong, again not seeing him in the lobby, 36 points on board for him. Judge Pickle in 8th, he has got himself 35 points. We've got LFC fan with 34 points in 9th. IGTSH Dummy, I don't think I've seen him in the lobby tonight, he's got himself 30 points. Sitting in 10th. Nicolaidas has got himself 29 points in 11th. Team 50 Phil has got 16 points in 12th. Attila Dixon, I've not got his PSN. What's his PSN? Oh, there, the IGTSH Dixon, that's what he is. He's got himself 10 points. Excuse me. Wow, that came out of nowhere. A couple of drivers, Fat Pickles Bro, no points on the board so far. And Toby Nicolas as well, no points. I don't think I've seen him racing either. So that's points up until now. We are just on the first of the out laps then. Sorry, first of the hot laps. Current championship leader. Squeezes in front of Dixon. So it's not a bad little course, Deep Forest. Do a quick lap on board with Dark Clark, shall we? So through this, maybe not on board, let's do the chase cam. So start, finish straight, across the line, down towards turn 1, big long sweeping hairpin left. Into the forest section, a few little wiggles and curves to avoid through here. You just don't want to be getting it all wrong on these curves. Cut too much, and it'll be a penalty. All four wheels off the track warrants one of those. So just drop it back out of the forest section. S's all the way through here. Left, bit of a punchy straight then, easy to get that one wrong. Smashing into the wall is quite a common occurrence. I believe you can pick up a fair old penalty there as well if you don't get that one quite right. So chase will be on down here in full race format for sure. Again, they're just trying to avoid each other at the moment. They don't want to be crashing into each other. So although it's not the actual final corner, it may as well be, because it is pretty much a straight shoot down here. Final corner, a little bit tighter. They might just have to back off the throttle. And on the line they take through, let's have a look. No lift through there for Dark Clark. So let's have a look at some times then. It is currently Hirakram at the top of the pile. He's going to over 134.2 on the clock. Dark Clark second at the minute with a 134.4. And then Fan just drops himself into third with a 134.6. Fan goes quicker, 134.4 there, drops himself into second position, pushes Dark Clark down a spot. Toby in fourth currently, 134.7. Dixon in fifth, 134.8. Markin Weeks in sixth, 134.8 as well. Nicolaitis, 134.9. Fat Picklesbro, 135.1. We've got Batman in ninth, currently 135.1 as well. Judge Pickle 10th at the moment, 135.4 is his fastest. Just over that halfway point in qualifying. Still this man on pole. Hirakram leading the way, not super quick compared to everyone else, just 0.2 of a second at the minute. Hazard's on them. Kicking off there, John was running very slowly around that last turn, probably to try and get a good run out of here. Press it all the way down towards the start finish line, get as much speed as possible. Hirakram coming in the pits. Opted to change tyres then, a couple of drivers coming in. You can see there's a few drivers in this Genesis car as well, quite a popular little motor for this season. And a lot of drivers put a bit of time in prior to the race, the racing starting, and they test all these new cars that come in with the updates and stuff. Some cars go quicker, some cars go faster, slower, and it just takes a bit of time. But they go through a fair amount of cars and then decide which one overall is kind of the best handling. Fastest, maybe not the fastest, maybe it just handles better than everything else. But overall, it seems like this little Genesis is quite popular. Hirakram is in one, not an LFC fan, he doesn't need one of those little Volkswagen stock over here. Dark Clark is in one, Toby is in a Genesis, Dixon also, Markin Weeks in his Mazda, Nicolaitis in the NSX. The Mazda for Fat Picklesbro, Batman in another NSX, and Judge Pickle in the final Genesis. That's staying off tonight. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's staying off. Hydrate, people. Hydrate. So 2 minutes left of qualifying. Can Hirakram hold on to this top spot? 134.252. Warm already. LFC fan as well. Back out the pits, fresh tyres on board for him. Hirakram as well has just had a fresh set on. Did he? I thought he came in the pits. Or was it Dark Clark? No, maybe? I don't know. LFC fans definitely come in. Fresh set of boots on for him for sure. Can he better that second on the grid? 134.4, just under 0.2 slower than Hirakram. Clark currently third. Then Markin Weeks moves up a position. He's gone a bit quicker. 134.6, drops into fourth. So gets nudged down into fifth then. Dixon just hanging out in the pits for the moment. Nicolaitis seventh, also fresh tyres. in 8th, Batman 9th, and Judge Pickle in 10th. Yeah, not sure why we're down to 10 drivers in this lobby. Get all that on. Live chat is going, people. Those comments in. Right, what are you doing then, LFC fan? Let's have a look. This is a hot lap, he's on. Oof, Dark Clark's come back through, taking that second position off of LFC fan now. He's got to press towards the line. This is final lap of qualifying. That 10 minutes is up. Is still out. Hirokram hazards on, he's done. Dark Clark still out. LFC fan then towards the line. He stays third. Unable to go quicker than that Sirocco then. So Dark Clark staying out of the way, so that's this lap in the bin as well for him, so he's going to stay second. C-Fan crossed the line, so he's third. Mocky Weeks finishes in 4th. Toby finished qualified as well, 5th. Judge Pickle takes 6th. Dixon 7th. Fat Pickles in 8th. Nicolaitis 10th, and Batman still out, still pressing here, I think, is Batman. And Dark Clark and Fat Pickles, actually. I think all three of them still out on a bit of a lap. Can they go any quicker? A little bit of a toe off of each other. Three of them down towards the line then. Batman, can he go quicker? Can Dark Clark take pole? Batman stays 10th, Dark Clark stays 2nd, and where's Fat Pickles? Oh, I missed his time. Did he move up? Unite and move to 8th. Official results then from qualifying. Hirokram on that pole. Dark Clark 2nd, LFC fan 3rd. Mocky Weeks in 4th. Toby 5th. Judge Pickles 6th. IGTSH Dixon 7th. Fat Pickles in 8th. Nicolaitis in 9th. And Batman 10th. Start at 15. Okay. A couple of minutes. I've already got the sweat dribbling down me, people. I dread to think what you lot are like working behind those wheels. So you will notice as the evening progresses, while we're watching the cars, that the majority of them have got a charity attached to them. We are asking for donations throughout the season. It's entirely up to you what you do. Let me just, where's that gone? That's what I want. So what we do is the team, because they are dropped into teams in terms of the charities they're in, the team that scores the most points throughout the season, or first, second and third throughout the season, any donations we get, we divvy that up between first, second and third. So first obviously gets a big chunk of money, second gets a medium-sized chunk of money, and the third gets the lesser amount. And we send that money off to the charities involved. So whatever team, if it's air ambulance and the drivers take the most points out of all the charities, well, they obviously take first in the charity drive. But we do ask for donations, and if you do want to donate, it is donations to Dennis Schuer 1984. That's DENNIS SHOER 1984 at gmail.com. Dennis Schuer at Dennis Schuer 1984 at gmail.com. Right. Race at 1 tonight then. Let's get this one underway. Only 10 drivers again in the lobby. Not too sure why. Lights go on then. A good start by pretty much everybody. Nobody left behind really. Nobody jump starting. Hirokram tucking over to that right hand side, not allowing Dark Clark to go for any kind of move up the inside, but Dark Clark trying to drive around the outside of turn 1. It's never going to work out through there. So into the mountains, Deep Forest we go. Again, a little bit tricky early on, drivers looking for positions through these S's can get a bit punchy. Losing a couple of positions off the line then. Maybe not having the best of starts in that little Mazda. Everybody still on track. LFC fans found himself with a half a second penalty already. Penalty zone coming up as well straight away for LFC fans, so he's going to get swamped a little bit quite early on. Stays off the racing line as well while he drops that penalty and gets himself back up to speed. He's going to lose 2 positions here, possibly 3, as IGTSH Dixon slots one up the inside. So Toby got through, Judge Pickle got through. Oh, Dixon. Yeah, I think he's through now. Oh no, LFC fan, how have you managed to pick up a full second penalty then? Almost 4 wide for these boys going up the hill. The race is on then. Dark Clark does manage to get that position off of Hirokram. Hirokram has a quick look up the inside at turn 1. Not quite able to get that one done. So Genesis in first, then Genesis second. Genesis in 3rd position. Genesis 4th. Mazda's 5th and 6th. In 7th, Genesis 8th, Honda in 9th and 10th in the NSXs. Still bunched up here, this pile. It's all going to end dreadfully for somebody. Oh, Collidas gets a bit of a tag there, gets pushed out wide. Poor LFC fan got a full second penalty he's got to lose here. That's going to drop him way off the back of the field, I think. Even the NSX is going to gap him as he loses this penalty. Look at that. Time is back up to speed, so he falls off the pack. Almost a second behind everybody else as well. So back to the front then. Dark Clark has retained the lead. Pulled a little bit of a gap from Hirokram. Toby has crept up behind Hirokram as well. A little bit of a gap back to Judge Pickle, but he is slowly pulling back in towards the top 3. 0.8 of a second at the minute. The 2 Masters are still bolted together in 5th and 6th. Mockin has the inside line through turn 1 for that. So he gets his way back into 5th. Pickles in 6th, Dixon 7th, Batman 8th, Nicolaitis in 10th. LFC fan picked up the pace then, managed to get that little Volkswagen up to speed. Nicolaitis finding himself with a penalty now this lap. And Dixon's just got it wrong in front. Batman's managed to squeeze through. All over him though. Nicolaitis got to drop this penalty. That's going to allow LFC fan to get back past him. Just to see how quickly he does lose that penalty. Comes off the racing line. There it goes. Of a second behind by the time he's hit this final corner. So back to the front then. Dark Clark still holding that lead. They are getting a little bit closer together. Hirokram closes back up on Mr. Clark. GTB Toby has tucked himself under the rear wing. Oh, he's actually going for a slingshot around the outside of the pair of them here. 3 wide through turn 1. Toby having a look up the inside of the pair of them. Oh, he's just just got up the inside through there as well. Can he hold it? Oh, he just gets himself into second between Dark Clark and Hirokram. Great bit of driving from Toby there. Hirokram then gets himself right behind Toby. 3 Genesis chatting off down the road. Judge Pickle lost a bit of time to those 3 then. Can't get his Genesis to the same sort of pace as these 3 in front, unfortunately, just losing a little bit of time. Slowly falling into the hands of Mocking Weeks and Fat Pickles here in the Mazdas. Kicking off at the back as well still. Dixon's managed to find his way through to 7th, LFC Fan 8th, Batman 9th, and Nicolaitis in 10th. Still with the inside line through there. The door being left open a little bit by LFC Fan. Batman not able to take advantage, but that little Sirocco holding its own against these Genesis, and he does get himself back into 7th, but the Genesis is took right behind him. He'll use the slipstream. The driver's looking for ways round all directions here. Does still hold that lead. Oh, he's got a little bit deep. 2 cars up the inside of him. I guess a little tag as well. Nudged off track. Getting difficult when there's 2 cars trying to come to the inside of you. And yeah, he's picked up a little bit of damage, unfortunately, as well. LFC Fan, so a bit of work for him to do then. Still early doors. Only 7 minutes into race 1. 30 minutes here at Deep Forest. So Dark Clark pulls 0.6 of a second from Toby. Nothing really. And Hirokram right there with him. Judge Pickle falls a little bit further back. Mocking Weeks and Fat Pickles are closing that gap up. They're making 2 tenths up on Judge Pickle in front in those Mazdas. Okay, we've got Fat Pickles going for the move then up the inside. Switches back, not going to work out though, so Fat Pickles takes 5th place off him. Not lost any time, I don't think, to Judge Pickle in front either. Still chasing him down. Big gaps back to Dixon, and that battle still kicking off behind. So Dixon, Batman, Nicolaitis. Battling. Nicolaitis finding himself with half a second penalty. LFC Fan back in the race, 2.5 seconds back, unfortunately, but Sirocco definitely holding its own. Once he close back up to those boys, and I'm sure if they start battling, which it looks like they're getting a bit closer together, it's going to slow them down and allow LFC Fan to close that gap back up. Linus is going to lose that half a second penalty. That's definitely going to give LFC Fan something to chase down. Heading towards this penalty section then. There is Nicolaitis. Just being warned about dropping that penalty. Oh, Dixon's found himself with half a second penalty as well. Let's see what this does to LFC Fan. He's still 2.7 seconds back. Going to be by the time they hit this hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Let's have a look. They do lose their penalty now then. It's 1.6 seconds, 1.7 seconds behind them coming out of that final corner, so making up about a second on the file in front. Back up to the front. Dark Clark has opened a gap of now 1.5 seconds away from Toby and Hirokram. Those 2 still battling it out in the Genesis. Hirokram's not managed to make his way back past Toby yet. 3 tenths further back, so 2.1 behind Hirokram. Just 0.7 of a second ahead of these 2. Pickles Pickles now finds himself with a half a second penalty. That's going to allow Mocky Weeks to come through. Let's see what happens to Fat Pickles, how far he falls off these two. Rocking up the inside though, out of that corner. Gets a position off of Fat Pickles on the way out of that turn before this straight. Now, will we see Fat Pickles use? I don't think he's quite close enough. He might have given Mocky Weeks a little bit of bump drafting. Try and help them both out with that penalty. I don't think he's close enough to get up behind Mocky Weeks to do so. Drops his penalty now. Mocky Weeks continues on. That gap opens up to a second between the two Mazdas. It's all change here. Batman into 7th, Nicolaidus in 8th, Dixon 9th, and there is LFC Fan. Now, less than a second behind Nicolaidus. Getting that little Sirocco holding its own. Clark stretching that time still. These two still battling though. That's just allowing Dark Clark to stretch that lead a little bit further away every lap. With third place Hirakram then. Again, just looking for those gaps to try and get past Toby. But it's a left, into a right, into a left, into a right. Gotta wait for those long straights really. Get a good exit out of this next turn. Oh, a little bit of contact between those two. Hirakram gets through then. Toby drops into third. No damage on his car. He's managed to get away with that. The gap in front to Dark Clark. Race leader is 2.3 seconds now after these two have been at it for the last couple of laps. Toby, even though he's just had a little bit of an incident, still within slipstream range of Hirakram for the time being. Judge Pickle then falls a little bit further back, definitely into the clutches of Mocky Weeks here, just 0.8 of a second behind him. Fat Pickles hasn't managed to bring that gap down either. Still a second between him and the other Mazda on track. Batman's still leading this little pile here. Nicolaidus then in 8th. Dixon 9th still. And there is LFC Fan still looking for a way past in that Sirocco. Damn, it's hot in here. Oh, sticks one up the inside of Dixon. Has got a little bit deep there. Dixon switches back up the inside. It's good effort by LFC Fan. Just not quite able to get that thing stopped in time. Cool, blimey. Still on then between these two. NSX is not disappeared yet. They are just up the road. They are still battling for position. Nicolaidus just finds his way past Batman there. Little mistake, left the door open. Nicolaidus jumped onto that opportunity and stuck one up the inside. These four are going to be at it for the majority of the race by the look of it, as are these two. Hirakram just missed that overtake. He has managed to get his way back past Toby. Oh no, we saw that. We saw Toby getting it wrong, didn't we? Had a little bit of an incident, and he has managed to claw his way back onto the rear end of Hirakram, and the battle commences. And it's on here as well for 4th. Judge Pickle under all sorts of threat now by Mocky Weeks, just 0.3 of a second behind him. Let's slipstream down here. Is it going to be enough for turn 1? Tries to go for the slingshot around the outside, whether he's carrying enough speed before turn 1. Judge Pickle outbrakes himself, leaves the door wide open. Mocky Weeks not got through yet, still side by side as they run up the hill. Weeks that has managed to get himself just in front for the time being, but these three still neck and neck. Fat Pickles definitely not out of this fight yet either. halfway point is 2.7 seconds up the road. Into second, Toby still being dragged along right behind him. Marking Weeks then into that fourth position. It's a little bit of time on Judge Pickle. Again, Judge Pickle has now got his mirrors full of the second matter of Fat Pickles, who actually slots one up the inside, coming into this final corner. Has he got it right? He has. Outbraked himself, but Judge Pickle does slot himself straight back in behind. He might be able to get this position back before turn one, but it is still kicking off here at the back. LFC Fan piling the pressure on Dixon. They both managed to get past the two NSXs in front. Well, they're now behind. Again, Sirocco pressing around the outside this time. LFC Fan looks a little bit of a nudge there. Almost run off track again there for LFC Fan, and now they are right in the thick of it. Sirocco just managing to stay ahead of Nicolaitis. LFC Fan then. All sorts of pressure at the minute. Nicolaitis and Dixon, as well as Batman, been at this battle pretty much most of the race. Like this man, a little bit of a battle early on with Hirakram and Toby, but once Toby and Hirakram started vying for second, Doc Clark was just able to get off. And that's what has happened. 3.7 seconds up the road then. Hirakram still second, Toby in third, Marking Weeks fourth. Gets past Judge Pickle. Related? Maybe. Still, look at this behind. That little Volkswagen. It's not having it. Does just about get himself into first. Is he into, seventh? Is he ahead of that? Batman comes storming through behind him, looking for a way past. Side by side again as they cross the line. NSX trying to carry the speed into turn one. Dixon around the outside of the pair of them. Batman slots one straight back up the inside. A little bit of a dink then onto the side of LFC Fan. Just nudged him wide. Dixon's seen the door wide open. He goes back through. Riders again just tucked in the background. These four swap positions. Just a few laps. Stays like that, they'll be sweating more than I am. Toby back past Hirakram. These two again still at it. Gap staying very similar. Judge Pickle just falling back a little bit again from Fat Pickles. 1.2 seconds behind now. Just got to be careful. Batman and the other maniacs behind, just 4.2 seconds behind him. They are still battling, so whether they actually close that gap up on Judge Pickle, yet to be seen. Dixon goes for a move. Oh, LFC Fan comes in a bit hot, tags Batman. Everybody, we're almost going to be four wide coming through this last turn. Us then. Just gets himself past LFC Fan into 9th. LFC Fan 10th again. All swap. There is a Batman. There is a Dixon right there. He just falls off the back a little bit. These four bolted together. It's an epic race they must be having. Again, there is a little bit of contact, but it's to be expected when you're so close for so long. Bound to get tips, and taps, and dinks, and dents, and things. But just got to be careful they don't let Batman disappear now. has opened that gap up to almost second here, 0.9. We'll start to bring it back down. Go for more position changes at the back then. Dart Clark pulls a little bit more time up front, 4.4 seconds now over Hirakram. He's still got Toby in his rearview mirror, these two. They are being closed up by Mocky Meat and Fat Pickles here, the two little Mazdas. Finding the pace here somewhere, they're still closing up on Toby. Again, they've got 9 minutes left. Whether they can close up enough to pile any pressure on Toby and Hirakram in front is yet to be seen, but they are making their way forward for sure. Judge Pickle kind of being left alone at the minute, 1.4 seconds behind Fat Pickles, 4.7 ahead of Batman. He's still got the threat of these three looming. LFC back into 8th. Nicolaitis 9th, Dixon 10th. Batman just opens that gap up enough to break the toe. Can he maintain it? No mistakes then, that's what he needs. Let those three then battle it out for the last few minutes. He's safely up the road in 7th. To take another race win then in race 1. Hirakram and Toby still bolted together. Mocky Weeks and Fat Pickles 2.3 back from Toby in front. Losing a bit of time. Front tyres looking a bit painful on those Mazdas. Judge Pickle falling back a little bit more as well. Batman has managed to maintain that second plus gap for the time being. I think they are actually working together. I think I've just seen Nicolaitis giving LFC fan a bit of a nudge down the road. Try and close that gap up. Oh, Nicolaitis comes through there hot. Oh, it was nearly chaos. LFC fan coming round turn 1 there, super quick, carrying the speed over to the outside of the track. Nicolaitis was coming around the outside, he got a little dink, ran himself off-road. Just as he came back on, Dixon was trying to fire himself up the inside, and it was nearly calamitous for all three of them. I can imagine that has allowed Batman to open that gap right up. He has pulled 0.4 of a second on these boys. Making it nice and boring for us. Hirakram and Toby, as they were. Yeah, Fat Pickles and Mocky Weeks definitely making time on those boys. Fat Pickles obviously using the slipstream to get past Mocky. Unfortunately carried too much speed through there, found himself with half a second penalty. Were actually 1.8 seconds behind Toby, then jumped back up to 2.3 here. LFC fan now bringing the time back towards Batman. Back in slipstream range then, coming into turn 1. Gaps open up a little bit, but they're still well within touching distance really. All within slipstream range for sure. And Dart Clark just driving around all on his own. And Toby still bolted together, literally nothing in it between these two. Gets a good drive out of here as well, Toby. Just a little bit of a look around the outside. There's a tiny bit more speed than Hirakram down this straight. Neither driver a penalty to lose. There goes Dart Clark round turn 1. Hirakram at the inside line into turn 1. Do both drivers get their braking right? not able to use the switch back up the inside. Hirakram retains second for the time being. But Toby coming back at him down this start-finish straight. Don't hit the wall, Toby. All over the back of Hirakram again, having to run around the outside. Hirakram put his car in exactly the right spot. Just trying to nudge Toby over to more of a racing line for him. Trying to brake early enough. Side on the exit. That's still going to give Hirakram the lead into this one. He's got the advantage into this next turn, but not into this one. And that is Toby back into second. There's only 4 minutes left on the clock then. They're still at it. Lucky Weeks not been able to close that gap down anymore. 2.1 seconds back to fourth then. Pickle still within slipstream range, 0.7 of a second behind Mockin. Judge Pickle, 2.8 seconds back in sixth. There is Batman closing up on Judge Pickle, again slowly running out of time. But that gap coming down, it was about 4 seconds, it's down to 2.7. LFC Fan just falls out of that slipstream range of Batman. He's still got Nicolaitis for company. Dixon falls off a little bit, he's found himself with half a second penalty as well. He's going to lose that now, that's going to drop him even further back. Probably the end of his chances of any more positions, but if he finishes here in this race, he does start at the front of the grid for race 2. Whether he feels as confident in that Nissan GTR is yet to be seen. So Dark Clark crosses the line then with 3 minutes left on the clock, 5.6 seconds up the road from Toby. Hirakram looking to come back at him though. Switches back up the inside. Toby just running a bit too deep through turn 1. And gets a wheel on the grass through there as well. Falls a little bit further back from Hirakram. And get himself back 1/6 of a second. Still within tow range at the minute. There was a Mocking Weeks and Fat Pickles again. The battle in front has just allowed these two to close up a little bit. Again, whether they can make any time up or enough time up to go for a move before checkered flag is yet to be seen. Forward with Mocking, there are Toby and Hirakram not too far in front at all. There is a Fat Pickles penalty loss now then. Still 1.7, 1.8 seconds between Mocking and Toby. Still holding fifth, but Batman getting ever closer. 1.5 seconds behind him now. LFC Fan back into 8th. Still got a Nicolaitis for company. He's having a quick look at the inside at this final corner. Great drive there by Nicolaitis, not able to carry the speed through though, so has took himself back into the slipstream of LFC Fan down the start finish straight. This will become final lap for pretty much everybody, I think. Maybe the top couple of drivers. Nicolaitis then goes for a move up the inside of turn 1. A little bit of contact again between Nicolaitis and LFC Fan. Dixon looks like he's quite happy to just roll around. Nearly 4 seconds back, he has had penalties to lose, but he will start at the front of the grid for race 2. Clark just rolling around here almost. Doesn't sound like he's putting that Genesis under any pressure really, even though it's full throttle. 5.3 seconds up the road, back straight then for him. Just the final hairpin to go at the bottom of the hill. Where's he going to see 20 seconds? Is he going to see another lap? Possibly not. Could be wrong though. That final corner for him. 10 seconds. Nah, he's not making the line before the lights. The flag drops. Not 5, 4, 3, 2. Nah. This is it then. Last lap. Dark Clark coming home to take the win in race 1. Had a little bit of a battle at the start with Hirakram and Toby. those two started having a little bit of battle all of their own, and Dark Clark was just able to stretch that lead. Toby has managed to get back into second, Hirogram third, then Mocking Weeks taking fourth just as Fat Pickles literally crosses the line next to him in fifth. Judge Pickle taking sixth, again just Batman just 0.4 of a second behind him by the time they crossed the line. LFC Fan taking 8th, Nicolaidas coming home in 9th, and Dixon taking 10th. Some great racing at the back of that field there. Good racing at the front as well, you know, apart from Dark Clark stretching his lead and disappearing. Hirocram and Toby were at it. Mocking Weeks, Judge Pickle and Fat Pickles were at it, and then the four at the back were just, they must be absolutely blasted out from sweat and stress and whew, battling like that for 30 minutes. Look, I'll tell you now, look, that's a different colour. It's going a different colour. What you lot are like. Like I say, I'm just sitting here chatting. Admittedly, I'm in a tiny little box room with no ventilation because if I open the window, the neighbours will hear. We don't want that. We don't want them yawping in the window for sure. But there we go. Race 1 done and dusted. Race 2 on its way. We got a time at 55. There we go. 55. 8 minutes of me waffling. Ooh, I don't know if I've got 8 minutes in me tonight. That's far too long sitting in this sweatbox mocking. Gives you lot some time to chat though, doesn't it? All 5 watchers. Yeah, that thing is, I don't know if you can see, you can see it. Don't even. Yeah, Toby. I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing. The battle you had with Hirocram was minuscule to the battle that those 4 had at the back. For pretty much 29.5 minutes, most of those. So, race 2 coming up, reverse grid. Everybody's going to be in the Nissan GTR, so it keeps it all fair in terms of that. Reverse grid as well, so Dixon will start at the front. Obviously, Dark Clark will start at the back, and we'll see how they get on after another 30 minutes here at Daytona. It is just a great big oval, as you can see on screen, so if they can all stay close to each other, you're just going to see overtake after overtake after overtake as they all use the slipstream and the bump drafting and hopefully not crashing into the wall and spinning out, because without the slipstream here, you're going to get left behind for sure. What we also don't want to see is people using the wall to get around the corner, just keeping the throttle on, sticking it on the wall on the right hand side and just using that to go around the corner. Great big bank turns here, bump draft allowed, yeah, why not? I might have to threaten you lot with nakedness, semi-nakedness. Maybe I can adjust my camera so it doesn't blind you all with the T-word tan. You know what I'm talking about, people. Chewy, what's going on? Where are you? Racing this RC car this weekend. That's no excuse. Dukes, evening, chilly hot. Tell me about it, bro. I do talk to you, mate. Shut up, Dukes. Not listening to you. Because I can see my microphone working. Because I don't like you, Dukes. Alright? Chewy's all right, in small doses. fancy racing RC cars this weekend. What, you couldn't drive down there like after this or first thing in the morning? Excuses, mate. Absolute excuses. What new headset? What are you talking about? I don't need a new headset. Yours is off, mate. Your whole bike's off. Why not, Chewy? How far away is it? Just sounds like excuses to me. Did you want to get leathered tonight? Is that actually what it was? Wanted to get steamboated. I did wonder where everyone had gone. Down to 7:30, and it's a 4-hour drive. God damn! Alright, let's shut my cake hole. How about that? Can you join? Can you join this lobby? No, Dukes. No, you can't. You didn't sign up for GTTCC. It's Friday night. You've probably been drinking, therefore you become a liability, Duco. Don't you? And no, GTTCC is special. It's better than you, Dukes. GTTCC, alright? You'd be in the lower leagues, mate. You ain't quick enough for Chewy RC, bro. The Donkey Chong, he'd have you up. Anybody out on track? Here we go. Why are you scared, Hiragram? Why are you scared? So this is, oh, we've not even got the little chicane up. That particular part of the track can be added in. Do you have to use the infield section if you're using that bit? Or can you just add it in for the sake of it? I don't know. Damn it, Dukes. Damn it, Chewy. That's a shame. Anything else? Clues in the name. Clues in the name. So there you go. That's a lap, pretty much, of Daytona. It is just a great big oval. Yeah, NASCAR, as Dixon says. Whew. What time did he say? 55. Jeepers. Real. This t-shirt was light grey before I started. It's now all sorts of shades of grey. Not 50 shades. It's not got that many 50. Not that many shades of grey. It's got some. Fifty-five shades of grey. You cheeky sod, Dukes. You cheeky sods. I'm 51. This time next week, I'll be 51. Who'd have thought it? Eh? Shut up. Shut up. And shut up again. Still faster than you though, Duco. Right, here we go. Race 2 just about to get underway. Let me get the nonsense on. So NASCAR then pretty much has been thrown up in the chat. Here we go, 30 minutes round of this oval. Sweatbox incoming. Oh, a couple of false starts there. Who's that? NFC fan? No, is it? who got the bad start? I think it was LFC fan. It is. Drops to 6. A little bit of a jump start from him then. They should all maintain gaps and get themselves into some kind of order. Weeks just tailing off the back of the field a little bit. Still getting a slipstream though. So from his perspective, from the back, you can see them. You'll see them all starting to weave around, looking for a move on drivers in front as they catch up with them and using that slipstream. Drivers then start peeling out on the corner. It's going to be absolutely full tilt all the way around here. Surprised the drivers haven't just got a brick on the throttle. Go drivers then peeling over, looking for slipstream, looking for manoeuvres. Weeks not able to get through yet. Dixon still leads. Nicolaitis in second. Batman third. Everybody in the GTR as well, so nobody got any kind of advantage in terms of car or setup. Come on, give me a slightly angled shot, you swine. Still on here with Dixon leading. Nicolaitis still second. A little bit of bump drafting from Nicolaitis then on Dixon, shoving him up the road. But everybody else doing exactly the same thing, sticking right there with them. Train continues then, lap 3. Going to be this for half an hour. Everybody still together then. Don't think anybody's managed to make a position up yet. Dixon, Nicolaitis, Batman, Dark, Clark, he's not well, he's managed to get through to 4th. To get any further than that at the minute. Again, the drivers bumper to bumper, pushing each other around here. Hirokram pushing sorry, oh, it is Hirokram pushing LFC. Oh my god, everybody's pushing everybody. Weeks has fallen off the back a little bit. 1.2 seconds, no slipstream for him then. That could be, look, that gap opening up. 1.4 seconds. Everybody else getting a slipstream. Look at the gap opening up. Martin Weeks could be in for a long, boring race here if he doesn't catch up. Again, he won't be able to catch up. Everybody else in front. Using the slipstream, using the bump draft. You can see them literally bolted together as they hit this start of lap 5. So just half a second between the top 9 drivers. Weeks opening that up. Unfortunately, look at this, 3.8 seconds. He'll be cursing, and these boys, again, not a foot wrong at the minute. They're all just bumper to bumper, using that little bit of bump draft. Nobody been able to escape yet. Forward with Fat Pickles then. George Pickle having a look at LFC fan around the outside just as we come across the line. Look at the drivers as well, having a little jostle in front. Hirokram just got past LFC fan and GTP Toby. they go again. Just absolutely foot to the board all the way around this circuit. Unfortunately, we've seen, look at that, where he can't even see Monkey Weeks. Oh, he's thrown himself in the pits. He's, yeah, he knows he's not going to be able to do anything here. He's not going to be able to close up on anybody. He may as well slow down and wait for them to come past and get back in the slipstream. At least he'd have some kind of race with people, but dropped himself in the pits. That's he's going to end up last anyway. You see Fat Pickles just falling off the back of the field a little bit, still within tow range. Again, just slowly closing up now on the straight. Let's run through it then. So it is still Dixon leading, still Nicolaitis second, Batman in third, Dark Clark fourth. Hirakram has we've just seen him get past a couple of drivers into fifth. C-Fan in sixth, Toby in seventh, Judge Pickle in eighth, and Fat Pickles ninth. Fat Pickles just got to be careful himself. That gap getting slightly bigger, 0.4 of a second now. You end up in the same place as Mocking Weeks if that gap opens up anymore. Drivers looking at positions in this midfield might just help him out. Back two drivers actually, just gaps opening up a little. Nobody going for an overtake. They're just allowing IGTSH Dixon to lead them all the way around here. Dark Clark almost up the inside of Batman there. 7.5 minutes in. Still jostling everybody. Not wanting to risk it around the outside. You might be able to carry a little bit of speed, but obviously in the longer way around the corner, it's going to lose out still. There you go, see, look. Those drivers at the back. Fat Pickles then falls out of tow range. Judge Pickle is also almost out of tow range, 0.8 of a second. Toby now, the last of this train of drivers, just has a little look around the outside of LFC Fan. Everybody just keeping it nose to tail through here. When do we see drivers go for moves? When is that going to happen? Are we going to literally wait until they come out the final turn and then everyone's just going to press for it? What do we think? Again, small gap starting to open up here. Toby just 0.3 of a second off the back of LFC Fan. LFC Fan, see a gap in between him and Hirakram in front. Does look like once you're outside of maybe about 0.4 of a second with the bump draft in front, you're just starting to lose it. The gap's opening up a little bit more between LFC Fan and GTP Toby. LFC Fan closing back up on Hirakram in front. Let's just change that camera up a little bit. There's LFC Fan still just hanging on to the back end of Hirakram there. Look, Toby, that gap opening up even more from 0.4, it's up to 0.9 already. It seems like the final driver of the pack always seems to lose out somewhere. It was Mocking Weeks originally, then Fat Pickles started to drift away, then Judge Pickle, now GTP Toby, so just 6 in the train. Nicolaitis has actually gone for a move, he's managed to get his way past IGTSH Dixon. Clark as well just finds his way through into third position. Hirakram follows him through, And LFC fan Batman getting swamped there then. He drops to 6th position now. He's started to fall off the back of this field. 0.6 of a second. 0.8 of a second. Look at that, it is. That's it. He now falls out of slipstream range. Wow. That's the power of that bug draft in front. Down to 5 drivers then. You've got to keep yourself absolutely bolted onto the tail end of the driver behind. Doc Clark gets a nudge from Hirakram. Almost spins it off track. Where is he? There he is. He's kept it going. No, he's got a little bit of tiny damage on that rear right wheel. He now falls off that field. So 1.1 second back for him. So he's 4. So Nikolaitis, Dixon, Hirakram, LFC fan then battling for the top spot now. Doc Clark 2 seconds back already. Batman another second behind him. Toby another 3 seconds down. Judge Pickles 6.4 seconds down, and then Fat Pickles right behind him now 0.1 second. These two are probably going to work together to close up on Toby and Batman if they can. Top 4 then. 13, all in the Nissan GTR. Absolutely nothing in it again. So 12 minutes in, we have got big gaps developed already. Top 4 stay as they are. Nikolaitis Dixon, who has only lost 1 position to Nikolaitis. He stays in 2nd. Hirakram up until 3rd. LFC fan in 4th. Big gap back to Dark Clark then in 5th. 6 seconds back to him. Batman right behind him now in 6th. Another big gap to GTP Toby. 5.8 seconds. Sorry, 6 seconds. That growing even more. Yeah, I kind of guessed that. Chris. It was. Once you're out of that slipstream, as you can see here, you just fall off the pack. Because we're like, these boys are all slowly coming back together, so you might have ended up having a race with these boys instead. You know, it is what it is. There it is. So top 4 go round again then. Nikolaitis, Dixon, Hirakram, LFC fan. Duco just coming in the chat saying we should implement brake checking. Leader must brake check once, every 3 laps or something. No, this race particularly chewy, you know, unless you like this kind of stuff, it's going to be ridiculously boring, isn't it? Just, you know, foot to the board, turning left again, oh, a little kink left, or more turning left. Again, if you're sort of, you know, you fall back off the field like these boys and end up racing all on your own, then it just gets a little bit boring. Look, these 3 all back together again. Toby, Pickles and Fat Pickles. Dark Clark and Batman. Bumper as well. Can they close that? No, I was going to say, can they close that gap up to LFC fan in front? But it's stretched from 6 seconds to 8.2. So these boys are still carrying a lot more speed around this circuit than anybody else. Go again then, 14 minutes in. Absolutely dripping in this little box room. 10 times tyre wear and fuel would have been fun. Maybe, yeah, maybe that should have been an option for this kind of race. Oof. Hirakram almost had a wing up the inside of Dixon there down that straight. LFC fan then in fourth, chasing down Hirokram, chasing down Dixon, chasing down Nikolaitis. Just a quarter of a second in it between these four, literally bumper to bumper down these straights. Just see the headlights of Dark Clark now 9.5 seconds behind these boys. Again, just the power of that bump draft working its wonders around here at Daytona. Still nobody able to go for a move. Bit of a kick there, a little bit of a Hirokram bumped into the back of Dixon a little bit too hard. He almost what looks like a brake check on LFC fan, and unfortunately, unless LFC fan gets a shufty on, he's going to lose that toe to those three drivers in front. Again, that bump draft just working so well compared to just a little bit of slipstream. Stretching to 0.5, he's got his work cut out then if he wants to get back onto that top three. Gets it back down to 0.4 here. Almost 0.3. And a lot of drivers when they hit that sort of 0.4, 0.5 mark just starting to fall off the back of everybody else. LFC fan has managed to hold on to these three. He is back involved in this fight then, carrying the speed and having a look around the outside of Hirokram here. Again, Hirokram just tucked in behind those two. Nothing that LFC fan can do through there. You saw him carrying the speed, more speed than Hirokram out of that turn. Switch to the outside, but that slipstream from the drivers in front, once he pops out into the air himself, just slows him down far too much. The indicator goes on again then, he's just telling him either get out of the way or I'm coming around the outside. Again, literally bolted together coming around here, has another little look around the outside of Hirokram on this bank corner. Bumper to bumper. Let's just have a flick through then, see what else is happening on track. These two still together as well, not closing up on those drivers in front, so we're probably going to see manoeuvres happening between these two in the last couple of laps. Judge Pickle, Fat Pickles and Toby all bolted together as well. I bet these boys are swapping positions left, right and centre too. Or are they just working together as a threesome as well? We're going to see all the moves at the end again. Poor old Mocking Weeks sat in the pits seeing this one out then, fell off the field quite early on, and there's no way he could have closed that gap back up. So nearly 19 minutes in, it is still IGTSH Nikolaitis leading, IGTSH Dixon in second. Hirokram third. We've got LFC fan having another quick scooch around the outside to have a look. I think it's an inside move there, but Hirokram moves back across the track. Right, 11 minutes, that's all I've got to endure, this absolute torture chamber. Here we go, the bump draft in there. Dixon leaving the door wide enough open. LFC fan using the bump draft on Hirokram, fires Hirokram forward. Oof. Picks up the toe right behind him. The pair of them drive past IGTSH Dixon and Nikolaitis. They have to slot in behind. Get back past. It's yet to be seen, but we could have it all again. We are just at the 20-minute mark then, 10 minutes left of this race. Plenty of fuel. Tyres looking a little bit beaten up on that right hand side, as to be expected. It should last the next 10 minutes. Tiny gap opens up between LFC fan and Nicolaitis. Not enough to drop them yet though, so the top four almost swap places, stay as they were. Nicolaitis and Dixon then try and use the bump draft to get past Hirakram and LFC fan here. They are still holding that inside line through the turn though. So a pair of bump drafters versus a pair of bump drafters here. See what happened there with LFC fan? It's almost like someone stomped the brakes on. That bump draft shouldn't cause that kind of slowdown. Look at that, without that little bit of bump drafting coming around there. Hirakram not able to defend, and Nicolaitis and Dixon get back past. Here we go again then, 21 minutes in. Back to how we were. These two stay as they are. Judge Pickle, Fat Pickles and Toby still as a threesome here as well. See how they finish. 8 minutes remaining, 8.5. On with LFC fan, still chasing down Hirakram, still chasing down Dixon, still chasing down Nicolaitis, even with a position swap a couple of laps ago. Whoa! Risky there for LFC fan, trying to take a tiny little shortcut just across that start finish line where the kink is, and nearly takes himself and Hirakram out at the same time. Careful here, he doesn't lose the toe. Staying with these three. And nothing in it between these four, hasn't been for the whole race. Dark Clark, Batman still bolted together. Again, whether anybody goes for moves here or whether they're just going to push each other around till the line, I don't know. These three still in the same order, Judge Pickle, Fat Pickles and GTP Toby. He's out of his sweaty overalls now as well as that. All chilled out. Seven minutes remaining. We've got to see somebody go for a move soon. Going to cross the line in this order. Are we going to see the two IG TSH drivers working together? Hirakram still giving Dixon a bit of a bump draft there as well, still dragging LFC fan along. Again, there goes LFC fan, just finds that gap up the inside there. To third he goes, Hirakram fourth. Can LFC fan find another gap here past Dixon? Not able to get up the inside through there. There either. There's the Hirakram gone. Oh, he was looking around the outside, but again, once he's starting to punch a hole through the air, it just slows him down. LFC fan trying to make that work at the inside, but Dixon just holding the line through there. Nowhere to go for. It was a little look, trying not to stick all four wheels across that yellow line. From behind him from Hirakram, pushing him back towards Dixon. good speed here. Does he doesn't think about going around the outside there with the bump draft from Hirakram. 5 minutes remaining then. These four as they were. Nicolaitis leads, Dixon second, LFC Fan in third. You've got Hirakram in fourth, Dark Clark and Batman in fifth and sixth still. Judge Pickles, Fat Pickles and Toby still in sixth, seventh and eighth as well. Oh sorry, seventh, eighth and ninth. More liquid. Good speed, but not able to get past Dixon. Oh no, he switches up to the inside again, not able to carry the speed through. Nicolaitis pulls away from Dixon a little bit. These three should be able to work together to bring that back down. GTP Toby looking for the move then. Hirakram using the bump draft to push him past Dixon. And Nicolaitis here. Nicolaitis gets a bit of a nudge off of Dixon as well. LFC Fan slots into second. Hirakram just gets into third. That is now Dixon in fourth. 3.5 minutes remaining. Carrying the speed past, or trying to carry the speed past Hirakram here, but again, now punching his own hole through the air. Slows it down. He has now got a toe off Nicolaitis, but that has left the door wide open for LFC Fan and Hirakram to have a scoop up the inside here. Now the two IGTSH drivers catch up with each other on the top side of that banked turn. Now they've got to go for the chase on LFC Fan and Hirakram in front. So LFC Fan leads them. 2.5 minutes left. Hirakram second. Nicolaitis in third. Dixon almost falling off this top three then. Gap opening up massively. 0.6 of a second. That might be him done and dusted here. I don't know whether he's going to be able to get back onto the tail end of those three with the bump draft. Gap opening up ever more. Dixon then 0.7 of a second back then in fourth. As he just sees, oh, he does pull a little bit of time back. Has Nicolaitis made a little bit of a move to try and help him out? Maybe so. The gap opens up between them and Hirakram here. It's bumper to bumper between LFC Fan and Hirakram. And then the gap back to Nicolaitis is 0.7 of a second. He's not getting a good toe at the minute. Got Dixon closing back up on him, so the bump draft will come back into effect. But have they left it too late now? Gap at 0.8 of a second. They've got a minute and a half left to try and close the gap back up to those two drivers in front. And they're also utilising the bump draft. Oh, these five then have all jumped back together. Pickles, Batman, Dark Clark, Toby and Fat Pickles all deciding they can have a bit of a punch up in these last couple of laps. 1 minute remaining then. What have we got? 55-second lap, so we're going to get across the line and see one more. Top two still bolted together, still a little bit of a gap back to Nicolaitis, 0.4 of a second. That is coming down though. Still got IGTSH Dixon shoving him back towards those two. Look at that gap come down. Can they carry the speed around the outside on this banked turn? Don't think they can. They have got one more lap to try and get back past these two in front. Oh, they go for it now. A little bit of a move around the outside. Hirakram and Toby just use the advantage of leading to push the two drivers across. But it does look like Nicolaitis has carried the speed through, and he does get himself back into first place here. That could be all she wrote as we're back onto the straight. Hirakram is right behind him. Don't think LFC Fan He's closing back up on Hirakram. Whether they can fire themselves back past Nikolaitis yet. We've got one more turn to go. It's all or nothing now then for these three. Does look good for Nikolaitis though. Hirakram looking to sweep to the outside on this final corner. Don't think he's going to do it though. I don't think the slipstream is going to be enough for him to get alongside. And it is going to be Nikolaitis that takes the win. Hirakram second, LFC Fan third, IGTSH Dixon in fourth. Dark Clark just about taking fifth, is he? Yes, he has. Toby taking sixth, Batman seventh, Judge Pickle eighth, Fat Pickles in ninth, and Mocking Weeks sitting this one out early on. He will end up 10th. Great battle for the top four, you know. Boring as it is, concentrating that much for that long can be a real drag. And it was good they managed to stay so close together. Slipstream obviously helping a massive amount in this race at this particular circuit anyway. And you could just see the second you were, what, half a second back, and everybody else with that bump draft, damn, you just fell off, absolutely fell off. It was ridiculous. Top four though, just managing to keep that one all together. And there it is. Round three, done and dusted. I'm going to drop myself out of this lobby already because I want to finish and get out of here. So that's it, round three, done and dusted. Thank you guys for stopping in. Thank you for chatting and all that sort of stuff. I know, chewy, boring race. I know. It is what it is though. I don't choose them. I just chat nonsense over the top of them. So that's it for round three. I am back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for next round of the Ring Calf. That's at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Sunday night at 9 o'clock for the next round of the Civics Unleashed. And then we've got Thursday night next week for the next round of the Porsche Cayman Cup. That's what we've got coming up. Nothing on Friday, Saturday or Sunday next week because I am not here. So just, you know, if you don't see the streams running, that's why, because I'm not here. But that's it from me tonight. I hope you've liked what you've watched. If you have, make sure you click all those buttons, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. Most of all, tell your mates, tell your mums. My name's Dark Smoker. I'm out of here.